Now, okay, guys. Now, welcome to Ask MBA. Now, guys, at Ask MBA, we have decided that we are going to go live and we are going to teach you about all the topics, especially the topics which are asked in MBA entrance examination. Examination, I'm talking about the CAT examination. So let's get started with that. Now, in CAT examination, guys, you know that there are three or four types of questions asked in verbal section. Okay. So the three and four verbal section topics are para completion and stuff like that. So I am going to share the I'm going to share the screen with you, and let's see whether you guys can understand the topic or not. One second. Let me share the screen with you guys. Okay, so now let's understand what is para completion. Now, if you are a student of Ask MBA, I have taught you this thing in the class also, but let's understand what is para completion. Now, para is nothing but it is a paragraph, okay? And completion, that means you have to complete it. You have to complete the paragraph. And in examination, you will be getting around two questions on it. It comes under critical reasoning, okay? So let's understand that how many questions are going to be there. So there are going to be all in all, if you notice here, there are going to be all in all two questions. Okay. There are going to be two questions altogether. So two questions are going to be there in the CAT examination, and 2 into 3 is equal to 6 marks. So we all know how much 6 marks affects and matters in CAT examination. Two questions are going to be there, and it is going to be overall 6 marks for you guys. And it is going to be an easy topic. Students can easily score marks in this one. As the name suggests, we have to complete the paragraph. Okay, as I've mentioned, that paragraph or para completion, it is a topic where a paragraph is given, and you have maybe there are two types of questions, right? So, guys, दो type of questions पूछे जाते हैं. Let's talk about the first one. Let's understand what exactly it is. Now, here, as it says, a line has to be placed in one of the blank lines in the passage. So, let's say a passage is going to be given to you. Okay, this is the passage. I'm just trying to show you how it's going to be. And these are the lines. But then, or maybe let me make it a better one. This is pretty weird. Okay, let me give you a better understanding. Let's say a passage is given, and in this passage, you have to figure out the line, the blank line. A line has to be placed in one of the blank lines. So maybe there are few blanks, like blank number one, blank number two, blank number three, and blank number four. And these are the blanks. And for these blanks, guys, you guys got one sentence. Okay. This one sentence has to be filled in these four blanks. That means this one sentence, either it can be put into blank one, blank two, or it can be put into blank three or blank four. So out of these four blanks, this one sentence has to be put in. See, so the option is one, the sentence is one, but the blanks are four. Okay. Recently, I have taught this topic in offline batch also. So this question is asked in two ways. That's the first one I spoke about, and the second one has to be filled by one of the options. One second, guys. So now this is the second type, okay? A blank has to be filled by one of the option. Now here in this one, in previous one, you had four blanks and one sentence. Here you're going to get opposite. You're going to get just one blank. Maybe the blank is here, maybe the blank is here, or maybe blank is here somewhere. But you got four options or four sentences, sentence A, B, C, and D. And out of these four options, you have to fill one here. In one of these blanks. That means one blank is going to be there. What I mean by is this that in previous question, you guys got four blanks and any of the blank can be filled by that one question or one sentence. Okay? ये पहला तरीका है. दूसरा तरीका ये कि आपको एग्जामिनर स्ट्रेट अवे बोलेगा कि लास्ट लाइन मिसिंग है या तो मे बी स्टार्टिंग की कोई लाइन मिसिंग है और मे बी इन मिड अ लाइन इज मिसिंग एंड देन फोर ऑप्शंस आर गिवन. And from those four options, you can select or what not can be done. So this is the second type of question. Now, of course, chronological order, cause and effect, title, summary, inference, problem solving. You guys are going to get these kind of situations. Now, what you mean by chronological order? The chronological order, as the name suggests, is nothing but it is an order of actions or sequences that first what happened, then what happens next. So maybe in a paragraph, the missing blank, it is the order of action. Maybe one sentence is missing or the second is missing. Cause and effect. Maybe a cause is given, you have to find the effect. Or maybe the effect is given, you have to find the cause. The missing blank can be, or the missing sentence, or the sentence can be a cause, or it can be an effect. So, guys, these are few ways you can figure out the answer. If the first line is missing, then it could be a title or a heading. If the last line is missing, or if they say that they give you a paragraph and then they're going to say that figure out the last sentence, either it could be a summary, either it could be an inference. Inference is nothing but moral of the passage or the understanding or moral of the paragraph or whatever. Problem solving, maybe a problem is given and maybe in between at the start or in the end the solution is given. That one sentence, that blank is the solution, and you have to figure that out. Okay. So let me go ahead directly onto the questions. But before that, let's speak about the approach. It is very simple. Read the passage carefully. Okay. You're going to read the passage very carefully. Read the sentence or options based on the question type. Read the lines before and after the blank to eliminate the options. Now, what I mean by these two options are quite self-explanatory. That means you're going to read the passage, of course, then you're going to read the sentence, but never read the sentence before the passage, okay? Read the lines before and after. Now, let's say there is a paragraph, okay, and this line is missing. Line somewhere here is missing. So you need to figure out this part and after that. So that means before the missing sentence and after the missing sentence, that part, if you pay attention to, you can eliminate the options. Maybe the one of the option cannot fit in, maybe because of the grammatical context. Grammatically, that sentence cannot be put in there, or maybe some other reason. So easily you can figure that out. By these three ways, you can answer the question. But remember, guys, do not get stuck in any of the question. You guys got many questions in exam, but you just got 40 minutes. Never solve the questions on ego. Throw the ego aside. Okay, I'm good in RC, so I'm going to invest a lot of time in RC. See, life is not like mathematics. 1 + 1 is 2. Maybe at that point in time, at that day, things are making sense in some other kind of question. Maybe in this kind of question, this is not making sense. So make sure that you do not repeat that mistake. Make sure that you do not do that error. Okay, with me, Aaron, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead with the question. So first, we will be solving the different type of question. These questions, of course, but the type of question where four blanks are there and one sentence is there. Remember what I said, that there are going to be four sentences and four blanks and one sentence. This kind of question I solved only once in yesterday offline batch. That's the reason I am getting this thing first. 1 second. So let's say this is the sentence. Okay, this is the sentence. Never read the sentence first. Never read the sentence first. First, you're going to read the passage. Now, this is my blank 1. Okay, this is my blank 2. this is my blank 3, and this is my blank 4. Now, out of these 4 blanks, one of the blank is going to be filled by this sentence. Means in 4 blanks में से एक जगह ये sentence बैठेगा. Maybe it is going to be at the start of the sentence. Maybe it's a title. Maybe somewhere in between. Maybe just before the end. Or maybe at the end. So you need to first, what I said, the first step, first read the paragraph. The paragraph starts from here, okay? And it ends here. So you're going to read the paragraph first, and then based on the understanding, you guys are going to figure out where this sentence is going to fit in. So I put myself on mute for 1 minute, and I want you guys to try to go ahead and understand what exactly is happening here. Okay, guys, let's understand. Let's get this thing done with. Okay. So the first thing is, let me clear the drawing. You are going to read the paragraph. Now, the paragraph says that dash. Okay, let's do not worry about the dash or the blank. Just simply focus on the paragraph and understand the flow of writing or understand what the writer is trying to say. समझने की कोशिश करेंगी है क्या? An argument can be defined as a complex symbolic structure where some parts, known as the premises, offer support to another part. The conclusion, alternatively, an argument can be viewed as a complex speech act consisting of one or more acts of premising, which assert propositions in favor of the conclusion. An act of concluding and a stated or implicit marker, hence, therefore, that indicates that the conclusion follows from the premises. The relation of support between premises and conclusion can be cashed out in different ways. The premises may guarantee the truth of the conclusion or make its truth more probable. The premises may imply the conclusion. The premises may make the conclusion more acceptable or assertable. Dash, but depending, or do not worry about the dash, simply read the paragraph. But depending on one's explanatory goals, there is also much to be gained from considering arguments as they in fact occur in human communicative practices. Okay. So they are talking about the premise and understanding of the situation. Now, after reading the paragraph in examination, you know what is the first thing you're going to do? You're going to ask yourself, ये मेरे औकात में है कि औकात के बाहर है? अगर नेगेटिव मार्किंग है तो आप इस क्वेश्चन को नहीं अटेम्प्ट करोगे इफ यू थिंक दैट यू आर नॉट एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड यू विल नॉट फोर्स योर ब्रेन टू अंडरस्टैंड बिकॉज इफ यू फोर्स योर ब्रेन टू अंडरस्टैंड you will still not get the answer, but rather doing so, you will exhaust yourself mentally, and that will affect in questions. That is going to give you an effect in the questions which you could have easily solved. Okay. So before the examination, either you try to make your understanding better, or in examination, you're not going to force yourself to get the answer right. Either it's going to make sense to you or not going to make sense to you. आना होगा तो खुद से आएगा, नहीं तो आंसर नहीं आएगा. Now read the sentence. For theoretical purposes, arguments may be considered as freestanding entities abstracted from their context of use in actual human activities. For theoretical purposes, arguments may be considered as freestanding entities abstracted from from their context of use in actual human activities. So they are maybe talking about the arguments, how humans are using it and whatnot. So let's first, how you check whether this thing makes sense or not. Ask yourself whether grammatically, as for the grammar, where all this sentence cannot fit in. Can I put this sentence in the beginning? For theoretical purposes, arguments may be considered as freestanding entities abstracted from their context of use in actual human activities. An argument can be defined as a complex symbolic structure where some parts known as the premises offer support to another part. Okay, maybe it fits on one because it could be a start, could be talking about argument, could be giving an introduction about argument. And it looks like a complete sentence. What do you mean by complete sentence? Where you get the idea exactly what the sentence. You do not need more ideas to be more definitive about the sentence. Okay. फिर आगे मैं पढ़ता हूँ. Can I see whether can this sentence can be put in blank to I compare the option for theoretical purposes. For theoretical purposes, arguments may be considered as freestanding entities abstracted from the context of using actual human activities. Okay. The relation of support between premise and conclusion. अगर मैं ये sentence को यहाँ डालता हूँ second में और उसके बाद ये पढ़ता हूँ तो सेंस नहीं बन रहा है यार. या तो मैं अगर इस सेंटेंस इस लास्ट पार्ट के बाद अगर ये पढ़ूं तो or implicit marker hints therefore that indicates that the conclusion follows from the premises. For theoretical purpose, arguments may be considered as freestanding entities. So things are maybe after the start, after maybe in premises, this might make sense, but the relation के ऊपर ये बन नहीं रहा. So one is better than two. So मैं option two eliminate करता हूँ. Okay, I'm trying to give you an approach how you're going to get the answer done. So this is easily eliminated. Then I put this sentence in the third part. The relation of support between premises and conclusion can be cashed out in different ways. The premises may guarantee the truth of the conclusion or make its truth more probable. The premises may imply the conclusion. The premises may make the conclusion more acceptable or assertable. For theoretical purposes, arguments may be considered as freestanding entities abstracted from their context of using actual human activities. But depending on one's explanatory goal, there is also much to be gained for considering argument. Okay. मतलब फंडा क्या है? सेकंड वाले में प्रीवियस पार्ट सेंस बना रहा था, सेकंड पार्ट सेंस नहीं बना रहा था. अब यहाँ पे इन द थर्ड वन द लेटर पार्ट यानी कि बट ये वाला जो पार्ट है इसके बाद ये सेंस बना रहा है, लेकिन आफ्टर दिस पार्ट में मेक द कंक्लूजन मोर एक्सेप्टेबल, उसके बाद फॉर थियोरेटिकल पर्पस सेंस नहीं बना रहा. Still one is better than three. So three is also eliminated. I hope you guys are getting the vibe how I'm trying to solve it. Now let's go ahead. But depending on one's explanatory goals, there is also much to be gained from considering arguments as they in fact occur in human communicative practices. For theoretical purposes, this is better than first. फोर्थ में ये बराबर बैठ रहा है, आगे कुछ है नहीं, ये कंक्लूड कर रहा है ह्यूमन एक्टिविटीज को, यहाँ पे ह्यूमन कम्युनिकेटिव वेज को कंक्लूड कर रहा है. हियर द आंसर इज 4. So the option, the sentence, this sentence is going to be put in option 4. So what I did, let me give you the understanding. Okay, theory thoda bore hota hai. First, what I did, I read the paragraph. I tried to understand as much as I could. If I still have to attempt the question because there is no negative marking, but I'm not going to invest much time into it, I will compare one blank to the another by putting the sentence there. And I will compare which one suits the best. When I started doing that, I found that first is better than second and third. That means this sentence can be put in first, better than second and third position. But when I compared it to the fourth one is even better than the first one. So I eliminated that. So the answer is 4. Okay. I hope you guys got it, what I did. Let's try one more question. Let's try one more question. Of course, I'm going to solve many questions on this way. By this, I'm going to solve at least 4 questions like this. So why do not you try to solve this question? Same way. What you guys are going to do is that. The first thing what you're going to do, first you're going to make sure that you focus on the paragraph. You understand the paragraph. Once you have understood the paragraph, then you will focus on the meaning of the paragraph. Once I have understood the meaning of the paragraph or not, अगर मीनिंग समझ में आ रहा है, सही है, हो सकता है, नहीं हुआ कोई बात नहीं, इस सेंटेंस को देखो कि किधर बैठ रहा है. क्या ये वन में बैठ रहा है? वन यानी कि स्टार्ट में बैठ रहा है. इज इट गेटिंग इन टू द स्टार्ट, or is it getting into the second position? Is it getting onto the third position or maybe the fourth one? अगर ये स्टार्ट है, is it a perfect start? How to figure out whether it can be put it in second? Our genes के आगे ये बैठ रहा है क्या sentence when people, और इससे पहले people tend to, is it making sense there? The same thing you're going to compare in third and fourth. You will eliminate the options and you will come on to the answer. So I'll give you 1 minute to go through the stuff and then I will explain. I'll put myself on mute. Okay, guys, let's understand how it's done. Sentence. Okay, firstly, I will not read the sentence. Okay, I will read the paragraph first, and I will not worry about the blanks also. I will just simply read the paragraph. The dual inheritance theory says that inheritance is itself an evolutionary system. It has variation, what makes us a new kind of animal, and so different and successful as a species is we rely heavily on social learning to the point where socially acquired information is effectively a second line of inheritance. The first being our genes. People tend to home in on who seems to be the smartest or most successful person around, as well as what everybody seems to be doing. The majority of people have something worth learning. When you repeat this process over time, you can get around the world, cultural, packages beliefs or behaviors or technology or other solutions that are adapted to the local conditions. People have different psychologies effectively, dash. Okay, that's the last part. So I want to tell you one more thing. Let's say you read it once, your mind was, you were simply reading. Okay, now understand guys, दो तरीके होते हैं. एक होता है कि आप सिर्फ simply read करते हो और एक होता है रीड करते हुए आप समझ रहे होते हो. यूजुअली द प्रॉब्लम ऑफ ईच एंड एवरी स्टूडेंट इज वो सिर्फ रीड कर रहे होते हैं. इट इज लाइक अ मसल मेमोरी. You are simply reading it. It's just like if I write Russian in an English format, मतलब मैं रशियन भाषा को इंग्लिश में लिखूं तो आप पढ़ तो लोगे लेकिन आपको समझ में कुछ नहीं आ रहा होगा. Because you can read the language English, but you cannot understand what those words mean because the words are Russian, though it is written in English. I hope you guys are getting my point. So when you are reading, understand. Do not just simply read. Slow down. टेक योर टाइम. इट इज ऑल अबाउट परसेंटाइल. तुम्हें स्कोर चाहिए, तुम्हें ज्यादा से ज्यादा क्वेश्चन नहीं करना है, तुम्हें 30+ मार्क्स चाहिए. 12 क्वेश्चन भी एक्यूरेटली राइट हो गए, 36 मार्क्स आते हैं भाई. 36 मार्क्स पे यू आर डेफिनेटली मोर देन 95 परसेंटाइल और इनफैक्ट 99 परसेंटाइल. सो वट यू डू इज यू फोकस ऑन गेटिंग द अंडरस्टैंडिंग. एक बार पढ़ा, समझ में नहीं आया, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, फिर से पढ़ो, स्लोली पढ़ो. द डुअल इनहेरिटेंस थ्योरी एंड ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड says that inheritance is itself an evolutionary system. It has variation, what makes us a new kind of animal, and so different and successful as a species. Is we rely heavily on social learning to the point where socially acquired information is effectively a second line of inheritance. So the first being our genes, people tend to home in on who seems to be the smartest or most successful person around, as well as what everybody seems to be doing. The majority of people have something worth learning. When you repeat this process over time, you can get around. Okay, you got it, right? Now, I want you guys to ask yourself and compare where the sentence can be put in. Imagine yourself being there in that situation and compare. I'll give you the answer, of course. Compare whether this sits here or here at the third one or at the fourth one. Try to figure out where it is not making sense and compare it with other option, right? Elimination method. So what is
So,
it? When people, yeah, 1 second, let me explain, Rutwich. When people socially learn from each other, they often learn without understanding why what they are copying. The beliefs and behaviors and technologies and know how works. Okay, when people socially learn from each other, they often learn without understanding why what they are copying, the beliefs and behaviors and technologies, and know how it works. So, is it making sense in the second one, first one, third one, or fourth one?
yes, sir.
Yes, what, Rutuj? First one, second one, third one, fourth one.
I think the statement feels like an effect. So the sentence after the second blank feels like the cause. So I think it may fit well in the second blank.
And you are absolutely right. It is here in the B one. It is absolutely right. It is not going to make sense in the first one because of course, as Rutvij has just clearly mentioned, it not in the third one and also not in the fourth one. Okay, so let's try to go to the next question. Here you go. And this time I put myself on mute. I give you the time to read the paragraph. Do not worry about the blanks, whether it's in the first place, second place, third, or fourth. After reading slowly and try to understand, go through the sentence. Trust me, this time things will make more sense to you. Take your time, 2 minutes, guys. Okay, guys, here the answer is C. I'm giving you the answer straight away. The answer is C. Here it's going to make more sense. Let's understand. This was years in the making, but fast tracked during the pandemic when people started being more mindful about their food. He explained or whatever. For millennia, ghee has been a venerated staple for subcontinental diet, but it fell out of favor a few decades ago when saturated fats were largely considered to be unhealthy. This was years in making. Of course, it doesn't make sense here. ओके, पढ़ते ही पता चल रहा है कि यार ये सेंस यहाँ पे, ये सेंटेंस यहाँ पे सेंस बना नहीं रहा। ये बात कर रहा है कि घी इज नॉट हेल्दी, इज नॉट वट नॉट, यहाँ पे बैठेगा नहीं। बट मोर रिसेंटली एज द thinking around saturated fats is shifting globally. Indians are finding their own way back to this ingredient that is so integral to their cuisine. This was years in making, but fast track. Secondly, definitely बात कुछ और चल रही है, ये कुछ और है। For Kamakar, a renewed interest in ghee is emblematic of a return to basic movement of India. This was years in the making, but fast tracked during the pandemic. Of course, this movement is also part of an overall trend towards. This makes more sense here as compared to first and second. Let's compare to the fourth one also. After this, their food. He explained slow food in keeping with the movement's philosophy. Ghee can be produced locally, even at home, and has inextricable cultural ties. This was years in the making, but fast tracked during the pandemic. At a big, again, this situation or this understanding doesn't make sense even in fourth one also. So third is the answer. It is this one was quite easy, guys. I want to tell you in examination, chances are that out of two questions, one is going to be very doable. Let's try one more. Okay, guys, what is the answer here? Let me tell you, the answer is option D. Here, D is the answer. It is going to be put in option D. Most were first time users of a tablet and a digital app. Okay, this is the sentence, but we won't be reading the sentence first. आगे बढ़े university lies in the ethnographic research that constituted the foundation of its development process. Customizations based on learning directly from potential users were critical to making this self-paced app suitable for both a literate and non-literate audience. The user interface caters to a Hindi. Of course, it is a better end. Most were first-time users of a tablet and a digital app. It could be on the first one, and definitely it cannot be put in a second and third. Or maybe you think that it can be put in second and third. You need to compare it with other options. And D is the answer, guys. So the drill remains the same. You need to first read the paragraph, understand it, read slowly. It's okay. There is no rush. Quality trumps quantity in CAT exam. Okay. So that's how it should be.
Yes, sir. The,
हाँ बोलो मेरे भाई.
the sentence speaks about people, right? So for the the sentences before the fourth blank speaks about people. So it also fits well.
Yeah, the point is this that, yeah, you are right. And one more thing I want to highlight here, sometimes our answer and explanation also right, but the examiner is only going to consider the option as per the writer from the paragraph from where that question has been formed. So whether we feel something makes sense or not, we will be getting the marks only if that is right as per the actual author of that paragraph. Because the CAT examiner has taken these random paragraphs from all across the literary world. So we really do not know from where and how things will make sense. So yes, there is always a dark corner in verbal section in theory where we think we are right and we are right actually, but the examiner is only going to give us marks when they feel that yes, they make sense to them or not. So these were four questions which I didn't do in the class yesterday. So I thought let's do it in live session. So if someone wants to attend, they can. But apparently not many are there. Anyway, now this is one question which I want you guys to try. In this question, you have to find out where after the last line, which is on a black background, more people will read it than if you see it white type on a black background. After that, what is going to be there? You need to figure out what is going to be there after that. ब्लैक बैकग्राउंड के आगे जो ब्लैंक्स हैं उसके आगे क्या आएगा सो बेसिकली इन दीज क्वेश्चंस the last line is missing or after the paragraph what line is going to come and it could be line 1 line 2 line 3 line 4 or line 5 so which one makes more sense as for the examiner or as for you or as for the context so you read the paragraph you understand it and then you figure out whether this line makes more sense in the end. Second one makes more sense in the end. Third one, fourth one, or fifth one. The context or the approach remains the same. You need to understand the context and compare it to the options. Okay. So let's try to do this. Let's see whether we can get the answer or not. Let's try this one as well. Okay, guys, here the answer is option three. Option three is the answer. ये वाला आएगा इधर गाइस इसके आगे बैकग्राउंड के आगे. Can you think why? I'm sometimes attacked for imposing rules. Nothing could be further from the truth. I hate rules. All I do is report on how consumers react to different stimuli. I may say to a copywriter, research shows that commercials with celebrities are below average in persuading people to buy products. Are you sure? If you want to use a celebrity, call that a rule. Or I may say to an art director, research suggests that if you set the copy in black type or a white background, more people will read it than if you set it in white type or a black background. So what the person is trying to say that maybe whatever he is suggesting or she is suggesting, it is not a rule. It's basically a fact. So whatever he or she is mentioning is not basically a rule, but a research-based fact. So what is the best possible end, or what is going to be after on a black background? What is going to be thereafter? The end of paragraph. Guidance based on applied research can hardly qualify as rule. Thus, all my so-called rules are rooted in applied research. A suggestion, perhaps, but scarcely a rule. Such principles are unavoidable if one wants to be systematic about consumer behavior. Fourth option definitely is not making sense. Okay, I get that. Fourth option is definitely not making sense. Fundamentally, it is about consumer behavior, not about celebrities or type settings. Of course, we are not talking about celebrities. It's basically about rule and that stuff. That was just an example. So either the answer is going to be first, second, and third. Definitely not fourth and fifth. Remember this thing, guys, whether the options are four or five, two options you can easily eliminate if you have some understanding sense. And then out of remaining three options, you can figure out what the answer could be. Guidance based on applied research can hardly qualify as rules. Thus, all my so-called rules are rooted in applied research. Now, second and third looks better than first because that's what the person is trying to say, that my suggestions are not rules basically. And I'm sometimes attacked for imposing rules, but this person is not. Thus, all my so-called rules are rooted in. But then second is also not going to be the answer because all so-called rules, suggestion perhaps, but scarcely a rule. Now, maybe you select option two or three. I will, as for me, even if you select option two is fine, option three is also fine. But the answer is option three. As I said, in verbal guides, you have a dark corner. Sometimes your answer is right. As for you, it's making sense. Logically, also, it's right. And nobody can deny that fact. But you will be getting the marks only and only if, as for the examiner, that option makes sense. So here, answer is option three or C. You can also consider it as. But even if you have selected two, it's okay. Why? Because maybe even I've selected that. I was confused in between second and third. I might have gone with the second, or I might have gone with the third. But third one is the answer. Okay, guys, let's end this session here. And I hope this small session is making some sense and getting you towards the CAT examination prep. Okay. Next time it is going to be even better. We will try to keep things simple. We will make sure that, one second, where exactly it is. Yeah. We will make sure that we teach you on the board rather than on this, and things will make more sense to you guys. So, yeah, let's call it a day and
Okay,
let's end the session here. Thank you, guys.